Hi, do you want to know how the story of Luc Longley is going to help you not only reach new fitness levels, but it's going to galvanise your energy and motivation and just take you to places you never thought possible? So who is Luc Longley? Well, if you've been watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan on Netflix, you probably have seen him a little bit. You'll have seen this big giant of a guy, huge big head, huge big hands, playing centre in the team. The guy only averaged 10 points a season, so he was not instrumental in the glamour side of the team. But he played every game he was fit, and he was central to the triangle system. In fact, Jordan describes him as the best screen he's ever had. So what has his story got to do with my cycling fitness, Scott? What has his story got to do with taking me out of the screen, as you say? Well, when Longley finished in '98 after winning 3 successive titles with the Chicago Bulls, little did he know that he only had a couple of seasons left. Little did he know that his basketball career, what he had fought for so hard, what he had worked at, he'd crafted his set of skills so much, was going to be taken away. At 32 years old, it was over. No more. His body had broken down. At that size, he had been fighting for years to keep it together. But that was it. 32, no more. Off you go. For 12 years, Luke was almost in Luke Skywalker isolation. Nobody knew where he was, apart from maybe close friends and family. Just disappeared. This trailblazer, can you imagine that? First Australian to play in the NBA. So many have now gone on to play in the NBA, but Luke was the first. But yet most people don't even know who he is. And he doesn't even appear in the show because the producers say there wasn't enough money to go over and get him. I'm fascinated by people like that. Absolutely fascinated, because their story is so common in a lot of other elite sportsmen, but it's common in amateurs. It's common in you watching right now. Here's why. When we look at the emotional mood states of elite athletes, or we plot scores from tests, we get one emotion that spikes. We call it the Iceberg Profile. Do you know what that emotion is? It's vigour. The vigour, the drive that they have to be successful goes off the scale. It's much higher than all the other emotional states, and it's the thing that if we could tap into, leads them to the top of the podium. The trouble with it is, if we cannot divert it during times of crisis or injury or retirement, we can run into problems. So poor Luke didn't have the ability to divert that when it was taken away from him. So I want you to think about your own position. I want you to think about your own fitness. Where is it right now? How do you prioritise your training? How do you fit it in? So I talk about the 5 F's. Fitness, family, finance, freedom and friends. I can fit everything into those 5 things. So when we prioritise time, we look at those areas and we try and give them a rating of productivity. We give them a rating of how important they are to us. Almost like the Wheel of Life. I'll drop a link in the description for that, and you can go back to that later. And you complete that and you get an idea of what your score is. So what's important to you? Well, how do I do that, Scott? How do I know what's important to you? If you don't know that, you need to have a serious think about why you're training. Well, I can never answer that, Scott. I just enjoy doing it. It's what I do. Nobody else understands me. I get out there and I work super hard. Are you progressing? Not as much as I think I should be, but I just enjoy. Work's stressful. Family sometimes can be stressful, so that's my escape. If you are one of those people, then you're going to end up in that Luke 12-year isolation. I promise you. So you don't know who you are or what makes you function. Why not try a personality test? I do it with lots of athletes here. I'll drop a link into the description. Try the 16-type personality test. Yeah, it can be a bit of fun, but you start to plot what makes you tick. You'll start to realise, oh, there's certain points there. Yeah, that resonates with me. Get the family to do it. Compare yourself with celebrities. Make it a bit of fun, but start to understand what really does make you tick. So when I get then people to look at their 5 F's and they start to look at finance and they look at their work and they'll say, well, actually, I don't get on at work really. I'm not that motivated. My boss is a bit of an idiot or whatever. So why do you do it? Well, I've got bills, got accountability, I need to go, I need to pay the bills, I've got children, I've got a mortgage. But what are you going to do about that? You're going to carry on. Well, what can I do? People feel stuck. They feel stuck that they can't move forward. But what I'm telling you now is if you're in that position, you've got to inject some form of plan. You've got to look at how you're going to promote your productivity at work, how you're going to change your attitude and other attitudes of you. Look at your family, what your relationship's like. Is there anything that's draining energy from you? There's nothing I can do about that, Scott. There is always something you can do about it. So where I'm going with this is what we do is forget the bike, forget the fitness targets you've got to be a certain time, okay, a certain event. They are important, but they're secondary. You then place you at the centre. What makes you a better functioning human being in all 5 areas that I mentioned, or a wheel of life? What makes you a better brother, a better dad, a better wife, a better employee, a better boss? What makes you a better human being? And it's not going out on your bike. It's about improving your health and well-being, but there are other areas to do it. So when you hit that point that Luke did, 32 years old, sorry Luke, your ankle is so badly damaged now, you can't continue playing. He goes into the grieve period. 12 years, he can't even watch a game. He describes it himself as like having a girlfriend that's gone away. You know, why do I want to see her at breakfast? She doesn't love me anymore. Doesn't love me anymore. So can you imagine that? And then you start to, I hear athletes tell me, yeah, but people don't understand me, Scott. That's your fault, not theirs. You haven't explained why it's important to you. You haven't explained why you need to push yourself, why you're training. And most people that have this high vigour, guess what? They're stuck in perma-fit. They are fit, I'll give you that, pat on the back, well done, you've got yourself fit, but you're not going to go anywhere else. The only place you're going to go is down, because you've got yourself into that perma-fit where you're fighting to hold it, because you're training too hard, your recovery's poor, and your nutrition's poor, because it's all led by guilt and ego, because you've got to do it. When you place yourself at the top of the pyramid, when you place your own health and fitness and you place everybody else in it, when you place the 5 F's in, what you start to realise is you can apply training principles daily through your nutrition, through your hydration, through your conversations with people, through your relationships. The energy you put in all areas promotes you, which means when you do come to train, you understand why you do it. Okay? Not just about the need to do it. So ask yourself this, do you need to train, or would you like to train when you choose? It's really, really that simple. So take away all that urgency to use it as an escape and use it as a promotion of yourself. So it's super simple, but very difficult to do. And you've got to take time. So you've got to share what you want to achieve. So poor Luke, he spends 12 years in isolation, and now with the Netflix show out, everybody's wondering where all the team members are. You've got one of his players, Steve Kerr, that he joined with in '96, obviously coached the Warriors, and they put everything in place to avoid having 7'2" players with the 3-point shooting. But the thing is about Luke, he's now come out of it. You know, he's now part of the national team setup. He's mentored. You know, what a great role for somebody like him. He's mentoring some of the young talent that's now playing in the NBA, been part of the national team, and look at the journey that Australian national team's been on. But what a great story to bring it around. But 12 years. Now people often say to me, yeah, I'm going to make up for lost time. You can't make up for lost time. You don't lose time. Time is fluid. The sun goes up and the sun comes down. You've got to start today making a plan so you don't lose time. It's just how we use time, folks. We've got to use it smartly, but you've got to understand what that is. So start today by looking at yourself. Place yourself at the heart and give yourself a pat on the back, because if you have that vigour, if you have that drive in one area, you can rub it over into all. And how much better would life be to have better energy levels, better sleep patterns, better relationships, a calmer environment? because you're able to unleash your full capacity of superpowers. Hey, if you like that, join me in the next video because I get so much more to share with you about how I can improve your fitness, improve your nutrition, improve your mindset. Remember, anyone can train hard, but there's only a few of us can train smart.